Hey guys, it's a Geeky Chick here, back with another video of Choices, Stories You Play. We are reading A Courtesan of Rome, and we are on chapter 2, as Marc Anthony reveals that Caesar crossed the Rubicon. You have your first opportunity to seek vengeance for your tribe. So let's get started. "8 years ago in Gaul. You and your family are returning from a hunt. You have no idea how close the Roman army is. Race you back. You take off, fleet-footed as deer, as your brother, still new to his adult bulk, runs awkwardly behind you. You'll never beat me. Your mother rolls her eyes, following slowly as she searches the forest floor for herbs worth gathering. Will you two ever grow up? Never. Singerix, or the brother, we just call him Sing, draws close to you, and you grin mischievously and leap over the creek, splashing water at your brother. Ha, I'm going to make it first. Shh. Your father suddenly freezes and draws his sword. You catch the first whiff of smoke ahead, coming from your village. When you reach your village, you are too late. The Romans are already here. Bodies litter the ground. Your only home has disappeared into choking smoke and desperate screams. There's too many of them. Back to the forest. We can't defeat them. A burning hut collapses to reveal a tall young Roman tribune. That's the chief. Don't let him escape. The legate wants him for a triumph. With a roar of fury, your brother grabs a burning board and charges for the smug tribune. Die, you monster! But the tribune gestures casually, and two other centurions step between him and Sing. That one looks like he'll be a fun slave to break. Keep him for me. I should... pull your brother back? Trying to stay out of sight, you hiss at Sing. Don't! They'll kill you! If we don't fight, they'll kill all of us. He lifts his board, ready to charge the soldiers, but you grab his shoulder, trying to pull him toward the forest. As you struggle, you are suddenly seized from behind. You find yourself face to face with the young tribune leading the attack. What do we have here? Ugh. You spit on him. As he recoils, you pull a hidden knife from your boot and slash out, leaving a long trail of blood down the tribune's face. Oh, I guess that's that scar. Ah! Liza, no! You'll pay for this. Chapter 2, Crossing the Rubicon. Present day. Marc Anthony swaggers into the party, letting the heavy doors slam behind him. Rejoice, Romans, for great Caesar has at last conquered Gaul. What? No cheering? Have I been misinformed that all of Rome waits with bated breath for my return? What happened? How was Caesar? I've waited long. I don't know. I don't even know. What should we say? I've waited a long time to meet you, and then, like, what are we gonna do? Like, kill him? I don't know. That seems like weird. We'll just ask what happened. Anthony gives you a careless glance. Surely a beautiful girl like you has no interest in talk of battle and surrender. You're right. I have no interest in surrender. His eyes sharpen and he looks you over more carefully. Here I was expecting only a group of bickering old men, and instead I am rewarded with a vision of loveliness. With a tight-lipped smile, Cassius stepped forward. Be welcome, Anthony. We are pleased you thought to share news of Caesar's victory. Anthony gives you a cursory nod to... Anthony gives only a cursory nod to Casius, then looks intently at each senator in the crowd, seeming to count and recognize each face. It seems the meaning of rejoice has changed since I was last in Rome, unless some of those here voted against Caesar and his unlawful invasion. Why would have, yeah. Those choices. She's trying to get herself in trouble. The lady asked an excellent question. Why would any loyal Roman vote against an action that profits Rome? Antony takes your arm, drawing you into the light, but he directs his words to the senators behind you. Caesar's victory has gained us thousands of acres of fertile farmland, tens of thousands of horses, slaves, and soldiers in safety for Rome against barbarian invasion. You hear a few of the senators whispering in approval. Holding Gaul will be a bulwark against the Germans. Satisfied with their reactions, Antony turns back to you. But perhaps none of that matters to you, eh? Should it? I knew your accent sounded Gaelic. What do you want with her, Domaine? Antony ignores Fact's sharp eyes still reading you. Let me guess, captured in an early battle and brought to Rome? Given a chance to work your way into Roman society? His eyes flick to Cassius as he continues in a bored-sounding drawl. And here tonight so Cassius can assuage his guilt over not stopping Caesar. Did I get it right? And you are a mediocre soldier basking in Caesar's glory, are as astute as you are handsome. No, Cassius is a good man. Yeah, because she was going too far. The fact that Cassius has a conscience to solve makes him a better man than you or Caesar. Antony nods to Cassius. I like this one. What other news is there, Antony? What will Caesar do now? Antony turns back to you, running one calloused finger gently down your cheek. Ugh. What is he paying you tonight, my dear? Whatever it is, I'll double it. Only have me if you beg. Talk to my Scully. We'll just say that. You want my service? You'll have to come another day. Tonight, I'm taken. Cassius is a lucky man. He turns back to answer Cassius' question. You want news of Caesar? Yes, the Senate has had no word of Caesar's plans. Is he staying in Gaul? Antony feigns surprise. Gaul? Of course not. Caesar and his legions are returning to Rome. He crossed the Rubicon today. Leaving Cassius open-mouthed, Antony moves further into the room, giving other senators the kiss of greeting. Cassius walks numbly toward another room, and you follow. Is it so important that Caesar crossed the Rubicon? The Rubicon is the northern border of Italia. It's against the laws of the Republic to bring armed soldiers past it. If Caesar is bringing soldiers across, he is in a position to threaten Rome itself. It means he is preparing for civil war. Ooh. Meanwhile, in Aretum in northern Italia, Gladiator. Ah. A small arena rings with the sound of steel on steel as a short gladiator charges a monstrous giant of a man. Is this her brother? Die! The giant swings a dull iron longsword, bringing it down directly on the head of the other gladiator. As the stands burst into applause, a man at the dais announces the next combatant. Next to take on the giant of Scythia, a barbarian of Gaul, last month's champion himself, Victus, the conquered king, her dad. During a courtesan of Rome, you will sometimes play as Lisa's scattered family members. Her father Victus is now a gladiator in northern Italia. Are you ready to die, Gaul? The giant of Scythia bangs his sword menacingly against his shield, baring his teeth in a bestial smile. Choose a weapon and fight me already. Customize Victus to choose his unique look in the arena. Select a special weapon to gain an advantage in his fights, today and throughout your story. We're not going to spend any diamonds on this. What should he... Standard? Yeah, well, we're just going with standard. Now playing as Victus. You select a standard gladius from the swords provided to the gladiators. Yep, I guess that's what we got. I will not show off for these Romans. Lucanus Flavius, your trainer and owner of the ludus you fight for, introduces you with a sneer. What do you have to say for yourself, barbarian? Can you defeat the giant, or will you water the arena with your blood? I should spit. You curl your lip and spit at Flavius's feet. His face contorts with fury. Fight! The giant charges across the ring surprisingly fast. His sword glints dully in the sunlight, pitted from the long use. Dodge blow. Dodge. You leap out of the way of the heavy blow and cough as a cloud of dust rises from the arena floor where you just stood. Is that the best you can do? You lash out with your gladius, but come up short, and the giant spins and brings his sword down hard on your hand. You howl in pain and nearly drop your sword. Ooh, he's about to die because we didn't get the good stuff. First blood to the giant of Scythia. The giant bellows in rage and charges you again, sword held high. I should charge. Rah! Instead of retreating, you duck inside the arc of the sword, too close for the giant to hit you. Look at the cunning barbarian, closing ground to cut the giant's advantage. Tell the conquered king what we think of Gauls. The crowd jeers and screams as Flavius whips up their excitement. Let's show him what Caesar does to barbarians. The crowd roars in excitement. I will not die for your entertainment. You shall not make my death a story for your children. The crowd is strangely silent, and for a moment you think you've shamed them. Then the laughter begins. Stop talking and fight already, barbarian. The crowd takes up the chant. Fight, fight, fight. The giant charges again, strength renewed at the sight of your purpling fingers. You struggle to hold the gladius despite the pain. Yield, barbarian. Never. With a sudden burst of speed, you switch the gladius into your left hand and lash out low at the giant's legs. He stumbles backward, losing his balance. A surprise hit from the barbarian? I should finish him. No mercy. You duck inside the giant's range and chop your gladius into his meaty gut with all your strength. Blood gushes as he falls heavily to his knees. That's him dying. May your ancestors welcome you home. He collapses forward with a final breath as you pull your gladius away. A win for the conquered king. A win for Lucanus Flavius's ludus. Later that day, after the crowds disappear, you report to Lucanus Flavius. Domine, well done today, barbarian. An impressive victory over the Scythian. I didn't fight him for you. But Flavius only laughs. Of course you did. I own you, ludus. I own your ludus. I own your contract. All your victories are mine. You are welcome to them. Defeating a slave in a ring is no victory worth celebrating. Flavius holds up a handful of silver coins. Your share of the prize today was 5 coins. I'll have them put away for you. A few more wins like that, and you may be ready for Rome itself. I only wish it were you in the ring. I have too much to live for to lose. Good. Your life serves me better than your death would. You may own my body, but you'll never conquer me. You were conquered, remember? That's how you came here. Now clean your gladius and prepare to attend me later. As Flavius leaves, you hear him barking orders to the guards who maintain his ludus, the gladiatorial school which bought you from Legate Aquila. You, come. I need strong arms to carry wine from my cellars. A messenger brings news from Rome, of Caesar. As his voice grows faint, you realize you've been left for a moment without guards, and the gate is unbarred. I should sneak out quietly. Trying to look casual, you slide toward the gate, checking for anyone watching. Everyone went with Flavius. Still moving slowly, you saunter carefully toward the main road, only picking up pace once out of sight of the arena. The sun has already set, but the broad Roman road is smooth and level, easy to find your way in the darkness. I just need to put as much distance as possible between me and Arretium. But before you are even out of sight of town, you hear hoof beats behind you. You pick up your pace. Ah! Stop there, barbarian, in the name of Lucanus Flavius. I should fight. Luckily, you still have your gladius, and as the guard approaches, you crouch low, slashing at his horse's hamstrings. Ah! Oh. The horse shies and stumbles, and you leap up, trying for the guard's throat, but your gladius scratches harmlessly on his armor. What did you do to my horse? He jumps down from the stumbling horse and draws his gladius. You crouch, ready to do battle, and feel the sword point graze you between the shoulder blades as another guard flanks you from behind. Now come quietly, or Flavius gave us license to take your head. We tried. The guards throw you to your knees before Lucanus. I'm growing tired of this barbarian. I thought you would learn by now. I will never submit to being your slave. I named you the conquered king to remind you who you are. You are defeated. You will never see freedom again. You have lost everything. I have not lost everything if my family still lives. Your family? They are dead or slaves like you. You will never see them again. Flavius turns to the guards. Take him to his cell. They prod you to your feet with the tips of their spears. And I'm confiscating your earnings from today's fight. It's not like he can spend it anyways. Alright, we're back, Eliza. Senator Lucius overhears you and Cassius talking about Marc Anthony's news. Civil war? Don't be ridiculous. Caesar would never threaten Rome itself. Caesar has no respect for the Senate. You've opposed him at every turn. Why should he respect you now? Senator Lucius stalks back through the doorway. You glance at facts. He knows something. Stay here. I'll find out. You sidle up to Senator Lucius, face composed in a teasing smile. You seem to know great Caesar quite well, Senator. Lucius starts to scowl, glancing resentfully at Fax on the other side of the room. But you draw a little bow, letting him see the smooth curve of your neck. You drop a little bow. Bow? You drop a little bow? His gaze sharpens. Well, I am descended from one of Rome's founders. We have always been closely tied to the Julius family. Then you were in his confidence even before Marc Anthony brought us this news? You lay a hand on his shoulder and feel his breath speed up. Why, yes. It's not something I would have chosen to speak up with Senator Cassius, knowing his persuasions. So, what did Caesar tell you of Gaul? Was there an official surrender? I really shouldn't talk about. As a trained courtesan, you will be able to get information out of men, using your wiles and playing on their desires. Clearly, you don't know anything of Caesar's plans. As you were trained, you show your disdain for Lucius with a delicate shrug, then step away. Lucius takes an involuntary step to follow. I do. Great Caesar wrote me to say that the Gallic tribes all converged around one leader. Vercingetorix? Where are you getting these names from? He even managed to defeat Caesar at Georgovia. Oh. But Caesar called for more legions and cornered him, and he surrendered to save his people's lives. They are bringing him here for a triumph. And what will become of Gaul? Lucius shrugs. Those who aren't enslaved will be left to grow grain for Rome, I presume. Caesar is still governor. It's his choice how to treat them. That's a lot of power to leave in one man's hands. Lucius nods as across the room you notice that Marc Anthony has slid into the shadow of the shrine, silently watching the ripples his news makes. You cross to join him. You're enjoying this. It's a party. Should I not enjoy myself? Watching them all cluck and scurry at your news? That's why you came. To see how they react. Of course. And why are you here? I am looking for a powerful man. See what he says. You came to the wrong house then. Cassius' power will disappear the moment he sets himself against Caesar. Perhaps I wasn't talking about Cassius. Antony's eyebrows raise, and he gives you a long, measuring look. Then I wish you much luck finding someone better. Anthony glances over the room again. The senators and patricians have divided into nervous knots of quiet discussion. I believe I've done all that I need to here. He walks outside and you follow, glancing back to make sure Fax isn't far behind. A litter awaits for Antony. There are more men in Rome who need to know what Caesar and his legates are on their way. Legates? Is Legate Aquila coming here? Shouldn't you be at Caesar's side? It seems strange that Caesar would send his right-hand man to run messages for him, while keeping more legates to support his campaign. You step closer to Antony, encouraging him to confide in you. Serving Caesar's interest in Rome is hardly running messages. But you must worry, right? That whoever marches with him has ample time to earn his ear and his trust? Legate Aquila is a brute with the political sense of a monkey. Caesar would never trust him with what he has given me. So Legate Aquila marches with Caesar? Antony suddenly stops and grins slyly, catching on. That was what you were after all along, wasn't it? You must be the cartoony girl. And if I am? Anthony grins, suddenly turns hard and his eyes icy. Don't play that kind of game with me again, girl. You won't like losing. As he takes a step closer, Fax suddenly melts out of the doorway to step between you. Liza is under my protection. Antony slowly looks down Fax as if examining a horse at a market. Very brave. Very impressive. But if I wanted to hurt her, no denarii a day backwater bodyguard would be able to stop me. Anthony, are you certain about that? You smile slyly at Marc Anthony, steadily stepping to give Fax a clear path to him. You don't have an army with you today, Anthony. Do you really want to put that to the test? Your litter is waiting. I would never wish to damage any of Lena's merchandise. Anthony climbs into his litter. The bearers stagger to their feet and begin walking down the hillside. Don't get involved with Marc Anthony, Liza. He's far more dangerous than he appears. He appeared pretty dangerous. The man has all of Caesar's ambitions and none of his scruples. And the backing of his army? Whatever you're trying with him, be careful. He could turn on you quicker than an ass can bite. You watch the litter winding down the Palatine. I know. You return inside to find Cassius looking for you. I'm sorry, Cassius, I was just... No, I should apologize. I expected your debut tonight would be a pleasant gathering, not a declaration of war. I have been happy to be with you. Then it is only my selfish wish that we could have been alone tonight, with no news to distract us. Another time. Perhaps I could make it up to you tonight. We could take some time away from the party and have the debut you deserve. You would leave your own party? I invited you here so I could spend time with you, and I feel we've hardly had a chance to do that. You cannot have expected Antony's arrival. I hope to be your patron not just for tonight, Liza, but as often as you'll have me. Can I make this a better evening for you by offering you a meal of true Roman delicacies outside by the fountain? We can get away from the crowd and both have the chance to get to know each other better. Have a romantic meal with Cassius in this exclusive scene and learn more about your new patron. Yeah, 17, we're gonna have that meal. I would love to share a meal with you, Cassius. Cassius smiles and claps your hands. I will tell the kitchen to send everything outside. Everyone else is eating already and won't miss us. You look around the magnificent courtyard with its sculptures and fountain. Oh, that's nice. We should screenshot that. Is this all yours? Cassius looks a little embarrassed. My ancestors were among the founders of Rome. My family had a long time to work on building their villa. No wonder Romans look at Gaul and call us barbarians. They are wrong, Liza. We in Rome have grown stagnant under our own wealth. We've lost touch with where our power comes from. From your soldiers? No, from the people, that is, who the Senate is supposed to represent. When we don't listen to the people, we leave ourselves open to tyrants. For a moment, Cassius is silent and grim. Then he shakes his head, trying to throw off his mood. I'm sorry again. I am here with you and all I can think of is politics. It must be tiresome. I would rather just spend time together. You lay a slender hand on Cassius' arm and he smiles, drawing you closer. You are the antidote to seeing Marc Anthony's face poison my party. 2 servants bring out platters of steaming food and set them before you on an embroidered cloth. What is everything? Cassius points out each delicacy. Flamingo tongues and oil, my cook's specialty. Sea urchin and roasted dormouse. Please help yourself. We'll go with what's at the top. Sea urchin? Yeah. You gingerly try one of the orange sea urchins and are pleasantly surprised at the mildly briny taste and velvety texture. Good. I told my cooks to prepare only the best for tonight, and there was no eel to be had in any market. How do you like the food? Delicious. I've never tasted anything like this before. I'm glad to be the one to introduce you. Was the food so different in Gaul? Very different. We lived simply there. Bread with butter, ale, meats were hunted, and fruits from our orchards. You must miss it. You make yourself smile, aware that for all his kindness, Cassius is still a patron. I have a different life here. When I was a child, it never occurred to me anyone could live differently than in Rome. Our ways just seemed normal, the way things should be. But something changed your mind? Cassius grimaces, then takes a bite of his dormouse, chewing contemplatively. I left Rome to be a soldier. It's what was expected of me and every young man my age. When I turned 18, I joined the legions. It's the only path to the Senate, and there was no other occupation my family would find acceptable. You hardly seem like a soldier. I hated it, but I stayed until a few years ago, when we fought the Parthians at Carrhae. We had no reason to be fighting there. The Parthians had done nothing to earn our attack, nor did the Senate order it. Then why were you fighting? For the same reason Caesar invaded Gaul, the hubris and glory of our commander. Did you try to stop him? I tried to reason with him, but I was a young quaestor, and he felt no need to listen. Instead, he marched 40,000 men into battle with no goal and no path to victory. You were defeated? Soundly. My commander tried to buy the alliance of different Parthian tribes, but they took his gold and betrayed him. They weren't willing to sell out their own people. Never trust anyone whose first loyalty is gold. Buying allies only works if those allies trust you will keep your bargain. Or until someone makes them a better offer. Indeed. So what happened in Parthia? How did you survive? The Parthians offered us terms, then murdered our commander under a flag of truce. Oh. They melted down his bribes and made him drink them. I led the retreat, but not before 20,000 men were slaughtered and more than 10,000 captured and enslaved. I see why you hate Caesar so much. When I saw Rome again, I kissed the streets to be home, safe, and swore never to serve in the legions again. Instead, I've devoted myself to the Senate to do everything I can to stand against would-be tyrants. Cassius, I wish there were more Romans like you. If it makes you look at me like that, I admit I'd prefer to be the only one. Cassius leans closer, one hand coming up to stroke your face. You can feel the strength in his long aristocratic fingers. I've wanted to kiss you all night, Liza. I'm sorry Marc Anthony ruined your debut. Will you have me now? I should kiss him. What? We didn't pay for these diamonds for this. You lean into Cassius' embrace, feeling his soft lips on yours. They part and his hands move from your face down your shoulder and arms, drawing you into him. The moment I saw you, I wanted you here, Liza. I couldn't stop thinking of you. He kisses you again, first on the lips, then the neck, arching his throat as you return his caresses. I paid Lena a fortune so that no one else could host your debut. You silence him with another kiss, trailing your fingers slightly down his back to make him gasp. From inside, the background murmur of voices suddenly turns to shouts, and Cassius frowns at the doorway. You spent time alone with your new patron, Cassius. Ooh. Forgive me, there are not guests I should trust to be alone so long. You and Cassius walk inside to find two of the guests arguing. Won't listen to you say anything against Caesar. Settle down, I will have no fighting here. But as the young man whirls to glare at Cassius, you suddenly remember. Back to the forest, we can't defeat them. That's the chief, don't let him escape. The legate wants him for a triumph. What are you looking at? The tribune who attacked your village is here. And of course it ends. Next time on A Courtesan of Rome, you have found one of the soldiers who attacked your tribe. Is your moment of vengeance at hand? So we don't get another episode until next Wednesday. Hopefully they release 2 like they did this week. And so if they do, and if they continue, Wednesday and Thursday will be the upload dates for A Courtesan of Rome. As always, thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys thought of this chapter in the comments. Things got a little spicy. And I will see you guys next time.